Hey, Soul Tribe, thank you so much for joining us live. We have Corbin and Jacob here today, and we're going to be talking about part two to do with 3IAtlas. So, as we were saying backstage, I'm sure a lot of people have heard enough. Like, it's just one of those things that's coming up and up and up. And we have seen further developments. I don't watch mainstream, so it's hard to tell on mainstream, but I did have someone who is very mainstream text me this morning and is like, hey, what is happening with this 3IAtlas thing? Do we have aliens coming? So that was interesting because it must mean that it's on CNN and a few other places now, is what I'm expecting. Uh, so, how have you guys been?
We're good. We're good. Definitely happy to be here with you guys. And yeah, like Soul said, um, 3i Atlas is like literally everywhere. And so we're excited to remind you guys of some of what came through in the session and some of the wisdom from the higher self, as well as, of course, the astrology too. So I can toss it to you, Corbin.
I was just going to say, Jake and I, we just came off of a silent retreat weekend. So, really, no idea what has happened in
Yeah.
the news recently with 3i Atlas, but definitely endorse everyone taking some quiet time for themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. And do you maybe want to start, Corbin, with giving us a little bit of a briefing on some of your astrology and anything that you've been picking up?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Thank
Um,
you.
Absolutely. So right now with 3i Atlas, just a few days ago, we had actually selected this show right now because they were really close to a couple key events that are happening. So last week we had the closest pass to the sun. That was on the 29th, right before Halloween. And then actually today, November 3rd, would be the closest pass that 3i Atlas is making to Venus. So Soul, just as you were saying that, one of your friends who was tuned into kind of MSM and everything was thinking about it. Definitely from like the charts of the moment, I can see how this is picked up in a much larger way. If we look at the charts that are going on in the sky right now, I've been tracking the position of Mercury throughout the entire time that we've had 3i Atlas, essentially since its discovery, to get more information about what's going on for us individually and collectively. And as we look at Mercury inside of the chart from last week and right now, we're noticing that Mercury is in an opposition with Uranus. And that's in that axis of Gemini and Sagittarius, which is all about information, communication, and getting the news out there. Inside of Sagittarius, we always talk about like things that are global or like on a world scale. And so seeing that Mercury is in Sagittarius right now, and this is finally that moment where everybody else is beginning to talk about 3i Atlas, that sounds really appropriate for the astrology that's going on.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that update. And how about you, Jacob? I know that you've had it mentioned in a few of the hypnosis sessions.
Yeah, I did have a session just last week where a lot of information came through, and it was really fascinating. I honestly, I wanted to, I wanted to have the time to listen back to it and really dig into the information so that I could present it. Did not end up having the time. That's okay. I am hoping to share that session, so we'll see if that ends up happening. But it was really interesting because what came through was basically we were shown an ancient point in history. This was like long time ago. It was actually the location was submerged in the Gulf of Mexico, so it's a part of the land that's no longer land. But the basic gist of what came through the session was the higher self wanted us to see another point in history that a similar event happened, and it wasn't the same object, it wasn't the same interstellar thing flying through, but it was a similar moment of these energies from beyond coming into our solar system, and offering that transformation, sparking that change. And that the message was consistent with what came through in our session from your higher self, of like, nothing to worry here. There's no need to fear this object or fear what's happening. This is all a part of the divine plan. This is all a part of what we're meant to be experiencing now. And it was actually interesting too, because their higher self said that this object was more so for the Earth than it was for us humans, that it was more about Gaia and the planet than it was about us as humans, which I thought was really interesting. I'm getting chills as we're talking about that too. So I feel like there was a nice confirmation of what came through, and then kind of adding on to that and kind of building the information out and really reiterating that message of like, y'all don't need to fear this. Don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. And pay attention to your own light and your own journey and your own sovereignty throughout the experience. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good message. And I can see this comment as well from Daughter of Lilith 52. Very interesting. I've been watching videos about the Red Star Kachina from the Hopi prophecy. So that's what we talked about in the episode last time. We were talking about how, I guess, it closely resembles when we did the hypnosis session. We kept talking about old way, going back to prophecy times. And, I guess that's the time before the internet and before we really became conspiracy theorists, or what's that saying around like conspiracy theorists? The only difference is they're a couple of months ahead of the truth.
Right.
So I like that one. And speaking of that, let me go in. I'm just going to put up a little screen share. Hold on a sec. Because there is a clip that I found that was really, really intriguing. I'm just going to remove this one for now and add something. So I've got a little video to share with you guys. Let me just bring this up. Okay, so this is a mixture of... So this is on God's Roadmap to the End YouTube channel. So I just found this today. I've also seen people sharing this on TikTok and things as well. Anyway, it's from the Salvation TV series, which exposes 3IAtlas's deception, predictive programming. And that's what we were talking about a little bit in the episode last time, was looking for, the numbers. Like we hear about 33, or we hear about, that was to do with the size initially. And we hear about with psyops that things are often repeated. And with predictive programming, they usually put it into TV shows, books, series, things like that, years and years before things happen. So we then watch it unfold, and it's already like our subconscious has had that suggestion. And it's almost like we're being spellcast into accepting a certain state or a narrative of reality. So I'll play this for you. It's also mixed with Avi, his name is hard to say, Loeb, I think, and a little bit taken from that too. So let me play this for you guys. It does go for 4 minutes. So I may stop it at some point, but it is important to have a look at how much this TV series actually matches it, and just listen out for key names that you'll hear in this.
Atlas, I've never heard of it. Atlas.
Great.
I've got it on double speed.
Hurry up and listen fast.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Atlas, I've never heard of it. What's Atlas?
Grace, don't say that word to anybody, ever.
The name is simply that it refers to the third interstellar object from outside the solar system that is visiting us. And Atlas is a telescope 0.5 meter in diameter in Chile that discovered it on July 1st, 2025.
Professor Crompton, please. I got a hit.
You got a hit?
Yeah, I'm going back to bed. And if you're lucky, I won't remember this in the morning.
They asked me to wake up at 3 a.m. To speak with them. And I actually woke up at 2 a.m.
There's a significant perturbation.
Really?
I've been running continual simulations, and there's something there that was not there 3 months ago.
Well, a slight miscalculation could taint the results. Why don't you give me the data? I'll take a look.
Yes, it's already uploaded to your server.
So I was up, and then I noticed someone sent me an email and said, there is a new interstellar object.
3 months ago, through the Safeguard Survey System that catalogs near-Earth objects, NASA astronomer Dr. Edward Acosta discovered an asteroid 7 kilometers wide out near Jupiter, large enough to cause an extinction-level event.
Professor Loeb suspects that it might actually be alien technology scoping us out. And for those who like a side order of conspiracy theory with their servings of UFOs, he claims, Avi Loeb does, that NASA is keeping critical evidence about 3IAtlas away from public view.
Project Atlas, Grace, it was a weapon wielded by America using my guidance system.
So Katya was right. Atlas is a weapons program.
Yes, except the weapon was an asteroid.
What was found and that's by multiple teams. There are 3 papers on that. We found nickel, a lot of nickel.
I have new information. I can't wait. Initially, we thought Samson was made of silicates, porous rock, but the collision this evening suggests it has an iron core. It's much denser than what we thought.
The only place where we found before much more nickel than iron is in alloys that we produce industrially, for example, for aerospace applications. So maybe the skin of this object is industrially produced.
None of your ideas will work because the asteroid has an iron core.
And as of a few hours ago, the first hint for a non-gravitational acceleration, meaning something is affecting its trajectory beyond gravity.
Liam, can't you see? Our math was correct. The asteroid did move.
But the trajectory, it hasn't changed.
Exactly. Because it's a hummingbird. It moved, and then it moved back.
So the question was, is it something other than a natural object? It followed the trajectory that was aligned with the planets around the sun. So perhaps it's on some reconnaissance mission.
It's not an asteroid. What?
Perhaps for a reason, if it's a technological object, that's the best time for it to do a maneuver when it's closest to the sun, to take advantage of the sun's gravity. That's what we do with our own spacecraft. And so the question is, will it appear on a different path after passing close to the sun? And of course, if that happens, the stock market may crash, because it would mean that, we have some risk involved.
If it's not an asteroid, what the hell is it?
Whatever it is, it's here.
So how interesting is that, guys?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just, one of the things that I think was most important about what your higher self said was this idea of separating the object from the narrative of the object, separating what everyone's saying about it and all of the talk about it and the actual object itself. And I think that's where I know I've seen some confusion from folks. And we had talked about wanting to kind of clarify this point of the object itself is real. Like there's something out there. The timing of it, the energies of it, very real. But there also is this added layer of narrative, of the story, of what the powers that be are wanting us to think about this object and what's happening. And I think that message was consistent from your higher self. And then also, from this other session as well, the higher self clarifying, this is almost more important for the earth than it is for you guys. Sure, you're there, but this is more about that cosmic dance of energies. And so I just think it's really funny that show, the drama of that show makes me chuckle because it's so dramatized. And then you look at the mainstream news and you see the same exact thing. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And I think it's also really a test to see how much are we still under the spell when it comes to predictive programming and it comes to a lot of narratives. And I think the uprise that we're seeing across the world and a lot of the protesting and things against just taking on new belief systems or new, I want to be careful not to say certain things, but where you would have to use this to live, to buy anything. So I think we're seeing a switcheroo of less and less of our rights or less and less of our freedom. So whether there's something like this that would unite everyone together, as was predicted, was it Ronald Reagan who said that would be the one thing that you would unite everyone together would be an alien threat, and it's supposedly the last thing on the cards as well. But yeah, some interesting comments. Let me read Pumpkin Spice's one. So Avi's deep state, pushing fear based on your own frequency is what you'll see. So it's actually a positive sentience upgrading our I think she's saying DNA, and emitting frequencies to boost us forward for all the planets. Yeah, I think it's really interesting. There was another little thing that I wanted to share with you guys. Let me just pop this little screen share up as well. But yeah, go and check out Salvation. It's interesting, but keep more of a laughing state rather than being predictively programmed. So this is interesting. David Sarita's done some really cool stuff, especially with Rex Bear on his show. But this was one of them that I thought was interesting. This was something he posted, and David Sarita's been able to look at all the math in accordance with tracking everything, seeing what's happening. He also shows you the patterns to do with like all of the planets and that, but I wanted to show this one with you today. So Richard C. Hoagland, who we know to do with like a lot of ET UFO stuff and a lot of, I guess, releasing data into the UFO field. So wrote, after seeing the new images I grabbed off the still running NASA LASCO C3 camera October 30th this year, pointed at the sun, this is not a time lapse streak. So I think we're talking about this. You can see here, he's highlighted that white streak, but there also seems to be like a black streak as well. So this was pointed at the sun. This is not a time-lapse streak. Details are too sharp, nor is it a camera malfunction, nor is it 3IAtlas. This is a shattered secret Space Force warcraft, which was apparently killed by its encounter with 3IAtlas or the other ships accompanying it on the other side of the sun. So really interesting, because we did see the cameras, I guess, blacked out previously over the last couple of weeks as well. We saw the government shutdown and things also coincide with that. So yeah, this is where we need to, as we said in the previous episodes, really stay in our hearts. I think that's super, super important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
Well, and I just think that message is so emphasized by the astrology of the moment right now. Going back to the chart that we just had, where 3IAtlas was closest to the sun, and the opposition that I was mentioning between Mercury in Sagittarius and Uranus in Gemini. When Mercury is in Sagittarius, there's that opportunity for a lot of embellishing, for a bit of exaggeration, for the information stream to become overloaded with a lot of information. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, so they like to exaggerate. They like to go a little bit over the top. And so just as exactly that soul is saying here, it's really important at these times to be able to kind of sift through that information, and even at times maybe turning away from some of that information, to more so tune into yourself.
Yeah, and I think that also coincides with the vision that I had just over the weekend. So I was doing a meditation and I saw all of these trees, like a forest of trees, and all of a sudden the trees extended to me and they said, do you want to plug into our network? And they sort of surrounded me like a giant hug. And then I plugged in on a neural network level into the tree root system. And then I plugged into the mycelium system as well. And I felt super connected to all of, I guess, the internet of the earth, because this is how, trees have been proven to be able to send messages. We know the mycelium network can even send messages even under the sea. So I think at the moment it's to really strip back from a lot of this information. And what I'm trying to do with showing you guys like Salvation and things like that is to look out for more of that stuff appearing in the mainstream media, more of that kind of narrative and agenda. And it's almost like we're getting the heads up in what to look out for, and to have a look at the statements that are going to be repeated across different networks, different stations, to look for, the Masonic numbers and other things like that as well. And Pumpkin Spice is saying, yeah, just avoid all of the negative stuff. It's just ick. Yeah. And I think it's for us to kind of laugh at it too. It's like the emperor's new clothes, and all of a sudden everyone's seeing the emperor with no clothes on. So we're no longer falling for a lot of that. One of the other interesting things that David Sarita said was, I think it was August 15th, which happens to be my birthday. He said that was, I think, when we first started to see something. And he said that this is the day of Mary Magdalene. So it's often a day that ascended masters are born, or, tend to transition out to. And I think that was really interesting, that we're having this higher level of consciousness gateway or portal, that also we're seeing this object come in around that same day. So please go check out David Sarita's information, especially his interview with Rex Bear. That was probably the best. And we've got Jody B, I Felt Love and Galactic Family with 3IAtlas. And I also think that it's, I was saying to these guys as well, at the moment, it kind of just feels like let's retreat into the woods and let's just take time away from everything at the moment. And I really feel that it's almost this other thing happening, and Corbin, you might be able to talk about it with the astrology too, and Jake with the hypnosis, but that does tend to feel like there's something getting us to go introspective. What do you guys think?
Well, I just think it's really funny that you had that meditative experience, and the meditation that I wrote and guided people through for the Taurus full moon on Saturday's show was literally around like the trees and going into the forest, and then like sitting down at a tree and like connecting through the tree to the, to the earth, and then also to the stars. And so I just perfect.
Oh my God.
Perfect.
I think I must have been there in spirit. We had a lot happening with my partner's work and Halloween and things over the last couple of days.
Well, and even beyond that, we're talking loosely now about what are our own personal experiences with the object, right? How can we tap in? And that just goes back to this idea of, Gemini versus Sagittarius, because Gemini would be like what someone told me, and Sagittarius would be like what I found out through my own experiences. It's that learned thing versus that thing that you were there to be witness to. And so I definitely think, again, that's a real big part of all of this. But that internal moment that you're talking about right now, Sol, we just had Neptune step back into Pisces, and Pisces and Sagittarius, our two Jupiter places, our two religious places here, are really part of this overarching story. And so having Neptune back inside of Pisces, it's just that another signal to go inside, to channel that own information for yourself, and really to be seeking that within.
Yeah, what a great message. And did you guys want to share any of the little infographics that you've got down below?
Did you want to pop that chart up at some point?
We can just keep flowing with the convo right now. We'll see.
Yeah, sure.
I did want to just plug my. I saw that Emma was shouting out my meditation in the chat. But you guys, if you haven't checked out my meditation on my channel, I did a meditation that gives you the opportunity to connect with 3IAtlas and the light codes and the energies coming in. And so, if you want a container to have your own experience and to connect, and this is with protection, this is for your best and highest good, connecting in with the object and the light codes coming in. I encourage you to do that.
And I've just popped up your website as well, if you want to give a shout out.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If you guys are interested in having your own hypnosis session, doesn't need to be exploring 3IAtlas like I did with Sol. It can be personal to you, but you can check out my website. I am offering 10% off of my future bookings. So any future life progression, future visioning, my future vision coaching. So if you're at all interested, got the ads going. If you're all interested in hypnosis, going backwards or forwards in time, check out my website and my bookings. And I think you put Corbin's bookings in the chat too, right?
I did. I've got that one to share as well. I was just trying to find. So if you guys come on over to Jake's channel as well, and you'll also find the meditation. It's just this one here. So I just wanted to make sure people knew what it looked like. So connect to 3IAtlas guided meditation. And so excited to share this. The first time that we've shared this. So Corbin, tell us about your website and bookings, and what do we do? How do we connect?
Absolutely. So I'm a Hellenistic astrologer. I definitely practice more of the ancient and traditional techniques. I commonly talk about whole sign natal chart readings. If you aren't familiar with your chart in whole sign, come and get a reading from me. I offer both natal chart readings as well as a little bit of an astro forecast. So if you're, I love astrology for the cycle work that I do and always for looking forward. It helps me to know when to be where at when. And so if you're thinking about anything for 2026 or just, on the precipice of a new project or a life change, we can definitely talk about that through the lens of astrology and the different cycles that are available for us there.
Very, very exciting. And yeah, I can't wait to hear about more of our soul tribe booking in and finding more about who they are and what they're here to do. I think that will be so interesting. And thank you, Lorianne. So yeah, please make sure to hit that thumbs up because we do love bringing shows to you. And it does encourage us to keep going with this as well. And we've got Emma saying, book with Corbin, highly recommended after my recent reading. Awesome. Let me just share also, so we do have, I've still got sessions available on my website as well. So if you guys head on over to solreta.com, the most popular would be the psychic tarot reading. So we can really dive deep and look into anything that's coming up for you guys or anything that you want to start to bridge towards in terms of future, as well as the galactic starseed reading would also be the most popular, and my potions. So definitely come on over if you're into having tea as a ritual and if you're interested in manifestation. And you can see here all of my beauties, all of my pretties. And we do have the new moon event coming up. I haven't popped it on the website yet, but you'll see the one from last month, which was a lot of fun. That was the new moon in Libra. This next one, yeah, that'll be around the 20th. So we'll be seeing that one. So do you want to talk about, I can see you've got a 3IAtlas chart, Jacob. Did you want to talk about anything connected to do with that?
Well, the chart was Corbin's. So,
okay.
And we've been kind of weaving in the astrology as we go. So if it feels appropriate, we can pop it up. I don't know. I just keep, I had pulled up some of the clips. Did you pull that clip playlist, Soul, or should I, should I share my screen?
If you can share your screen, and while you're doing that, let me pop up. There was something else that I wanted to share with you guys too. Let me just go in to another window. So this was just a list compiled of movies that centered around, let me just pop this comment down. So this was, I just went into AI and just said, can you please compile me a list of movies that are centered around, comets, asteroids, things like that theme. So we've got Armageddon, Deep Impact, Greenland, which I loved Greenland. I think I've watched that twice. Seeking a Friend for the End of the World, Don't Look Up, which is one of the more recent ones over the last couple of years, where no one sort of believed what was happening. That was an interesting one. We've got Meteor, Asteroid, Night of the Comet, and then TV series Salvation, which is the one that we saw with the Avi Loeb one before, Impact, and The Expanse. So yeah, if you guys are watching this and you can think of any others that we maybe need to add to the list or anything that's just sort of popping up for you, please let us know, because a lot of us are sci-fi geeks in this in this soul tribe, and we would love to see if there's any synchronicities.
Okay, so I have this up. I'm not sure which one we should start with. Maybe we just start with the reminder of this first clip, because this is pretty early in our session. Or maybe should I do this one or that one?
Oh, and Lorianne said War of the Worlds as well. Really interesting.
Okay, let's do this one. So it should be all good here.
This event will help us get back to our magnetic north, although there may be fear with some of this happening, or misguided prophecy, like Chicken Little, the sky is falling type situation, but it actually triggers mass awakening on a deeper level. Even those that say they are awake or have the eyes to see, and not necessarily awake in the heart or awake to old way. We each need to come back to the song of our soul and heart, and to our original essence. While many will be distracted in these times and days, come back to your song, come back to your heart, your original spirit. This is about housing your soul and spirit cloaked in physical form on the earth. This will help create a shift in the morphogenic field, helping to drop further the veils of illusion. This will help shift us back more to old way, And we'll see political agendas shift. We'll see people rising with awakening. There will be a push for more fairness and justice, but it will be through people reclaiming their sovereignty, not waiting for people to give it or waiting for permission.
So I'm curious. Okay, that was not the one that I'm intended to play, but clearly the one that we were meant to listen to.
Yeah. And yeah, it's interesting. I was looking at that and, being clairvoyant and seeing auras, I'm just seeing, and I didn't notice it before, but just this bluey kind of like luminescent white energy that's around my third eye and around my crown, but it's this like huge energy field. And I was just thinking, I wonder if that happens, around a lot of hypnosis sessions. So it was just interesting, kind of looking at myself from a clairvoyant level. I hadn't noticed that when I'd kind of watched back, I guess, because I'm listening intently.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I definitely have had clients who are more clairvoyant either be able to see blue around me or calling out blue around themselves while they're in session. I mean, it totally makes sense with the communication piece and connecting to higher guidance. Definitely makes a lot of sense.
Oh, interesting. And was there another clip that you wanted to share?
Yeah, let's do.
And just while you find that, so Dusty the Great is asking about the liquid lotus that I used this morning. So we were talking about in the weekly reading, I'd been using Love Potion, and my partner and I have been drinking it over the last week with hot chocolate, and I've been putting blue lotus in. So it's perfect just to get you off to sleep at night. It's this warm kind of like hug in a cup, but it also just really helps to activate and open up that DMT of the third eye as well. So I actually just use the raw lotus flowers, and usually per teapot I'll drop one big flower in, but you can get liquid blue lotus as well. You can even get it as an aromatic essential oil, like roll-on perfume too, and absorb it through your skin that way.
I love blue lotus.
Me too.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna keep rolling into this other clip. Speaking of higher guidance, because the other ones that I played, I mean, we've already talked about the distraction of the narrative, and I think hopefully everyone who's here at least understands the distinction there of like the difference between the narrative of the object and the object itself and what's happening there. And we did talk a little bit more about like the prophecy and that side of things too. So yeah, I think let's listen to this one. Full screen for you guys. So I'm curious if there is any guidance that you have for humanity at this point, either in working with the energies of this object of the cosmos for our highest good, or maybe that's the wrong question. I'm curious if there's guidance that you have for the collective.
When the rainbows appear, the double rainbows, these are portals opening into other realms. And a lot of these are connected with Pleiadian ships and Pleiadian cities. When you see double rainbows, this is a great time to access higher information and connect to the higher dimensional beings that are here to help us on Earth at this particular point in time. And some of you will know how to call upon the weather and the rainbows to open these portals. This is a time to seek higher guidance and counsel. I keep seeing what looks to be almost like an open diamond residing like cloud ships or like floating cities with these double rainbows. I've seen one. These floating cities are beautiful, crystalline, high vibrational cities.
I was curious around that, if there.
That's interesting, because I'm in hypnosis, like when we're doing this, obviously, and even when I'm watching it back, it's like I unconsciously or subconsciously go back into it. So it's almost like I'm watching a lot of these for the first time, even though I've watched it like twice all the way through, at least. But yeah, with that around like controlling the weather and things, That's interesting because I've been having more experiences with electricity and just like with actually using like auric energy at the moment. And one of my good friends, she was saying the other day, oh, there's some, magical people that actually will use their aura and send out intention or like not use, spells or magic and things, but they actually just do it through holding that intention, and their aura has this energy that just kind of sends things out. So I've had a few things like that happen lately, which been really, really interesting.
Very, yeah. That was a bit that like I was kind of surprised that it came through, because it felt almost like it didn't match up, or like but that's the interesting thing about asking questions of the higher self, is they give you literally what you ask for. And so I didn't say, do you have further guidance on 3IAtlas or on, I just said, do you have further guidance? And that opens the door for them to, share whatever it is that they want to share. And I just think that it was such a poignant message, because it's instead of like looking up at the stars in fear, it's like, no, look up at the sky with love and like with that desire to connect with your star family. And I mean, many of us on this, watching this channel, watching these shows, y'all have Pleiadian connections and energy for sure. And so I just think that message was just so beautifully put by your higher self, of like, no, this is a good moment to connect, like, and connect in a good way, in a loving way with those who have your best and highest good at heart. So
yeah, and I think that also, it beautifully ties into your meditation around connecting with the trees, which still blows my mind that I synchronistically had no idea. And it's like the vision and spirit's just like taking me there. It's like, hey, you might have missed the journey. Let me take you there. But yeah, I do feel the fairies in the background as we're talking about all of these realms and things, just saying, hey, don't forget about us. So they are part of this realm down here, and we are living in a multidimensional realm. And it was interesting. I was watching something last night to do with quantum physics, and they were talking about the laser experiment of where you have a pinprick in a piece of paper. And when you look on the wall where the laser's coming out, it might be split into two. But anyway, when they put 4 pinpricks, I think it was, you got what looked to be like a grid kind of pattern like this. And it's interesting because I'm like, okay, well, that kind of looks like, the 4th dimension, closely looked kind of cube-like in a way, what we think about, with our 3D reality or things. So it's interesting just looking at, there being 4 kind of focal points together to have, I guess, us in this space and time. And it's like, how many places are we plugged into? And then I saw something else that I shared on Facebook to do with deja vu. And since I was a little kid, I always had these energy threads or these feelings when I had deja vu, that it was either myself kind of intersecting with myself in another world, crossover, or another experience, whether it's, we call it a parallel life, past life. And then sometimes I'll have where a memory will pop up, and it won't have to be something that's super important. But usually I notice myself as the character in that memory having a pivotal point in time or choice. And what I'm finding myself doing over the last couple of years is coaching that past version of self. And Japanese scientists have now also proven that you can go back and change things in the past, which will change things to do with future. So I feel like we're kind of finding, not that we understand like the full extent of it, but if we can look at maybe this 3IAtlas situation and tapping into the future version of self, and is there anything that the future version of us would like to download or share? And I find that I keep getting taken back to come into the heart, come into like our own knowledge, our own, I wouldn't say belief system, because we know a lot of that is imprinted to do with blueprints, but I would say come into like our own soul's knowledge or wisdom or truth from higher self, which, your hypnosis sessions are a perfect way to do that, as well as Corbin's astrology, to find out more about like who you are, what your learning style is, where you sort of lean towards.
Well, and beyond helping you connect with your higher self, I can also help you connect with your future self. And so like through the future life progression, I mean, that it is a different experience than connecting with your higher self, but can be equally as profound. And I've had some really wild experiences myself going on those journeys and connecting with those future versions of self. And it's just really cool to be able to tap in a different way, and to see how that really does then feed back into your present and help you to move even smoother and quicker towards that version of you. And if you're going backwards in time, the ways that you can find healing in the present moment and rework that past experience, whether it be past life or current lifetime past experience. I mean, I don't need the scientists to tell me that this is true and that we can do this. Like, I see this every day in my sessions. So if you're looking for some proof that can happen, come see me. I'm happy to give you the experience to see how that works.
I love Lorianne's comment. Finally, I'm not the weirdo in the conversation.
Are you calling us the weirdo then, Lorianne?
happily to be a weirdo. And we've got Janed saying, your higher self is your future self. What's the difference? Did you maybe have you had that come up in a session?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, these sorts of questions are hard for us to really wrap our heads around, because it's looking at things from a multidimensional perspective. And so there are elements of your higher self that could be futuristic. I mean, the way that I look at it and the way that I approach who you're connecting with and how you're connecting is really about your intention and what you're looking for. Your higher self is more of that oversoul aspect of you, that higher dimensional expression of you that is still connected to source and the collective consciousness and all of that information from this lifetime as well as all of the other ones. Your future self is more than likely a little more focused in its intention or its energy. It's less of that collective part of you, and so there can be it's a different approach with what information you're looking for and how you're connecting. And so your future self can help you more so in understanding, well, how do I get from here to that future me? Your higher self can help you to understand kind of the broader picture of your incarnational journey and your story, both past, present, and future, and sort of that higher level view. And so when you're connecting with these parts of you, your higher self is going to have a broader understanding of everything than your future self is, because it'll be more focused to that future timeline, that moment in time that you're connecting with. And so hopefully that all makes sense. Hopefully that all.
Yeah, and I think we put that out in the Oversoul little snippet video that we did from, was it the first or second session? I think
so, yeah.
Hypnosis. So that is a good one, talking about the diamond light Oversoul and how, all these different facets relate to different parts of ourselves. Did you want to add anything to do with astrology or any other kinds of epiphanies or awareness that's coming up for you right now, Corbin?
Yeah, well, I just think all the way back to this clip that we had played, I'd been asking myself for a while, like, astrologically, what is a double rainbow? Like, how does that show up? How can I take this symbolism and like write it in the stars? And just the way that you've explained more so what that meant to you, right? People working more with their spiritual gifts, and Jody was throwing out in the chat, people working from a place of higher consciousness. I do want to draw the attention to like early next spring or late February, when we have Saturn and Neptune coming together at 0 Aries. I had actually thought about Aries as a place where a rainbow could start and then go to Pisces. Yeah, I like it. But even just the more that we've kind of fleshed out this conversation, it really shows that a lot of what we're going through internally with 3IAtlas might be preparing us to step into those new spiritual roles and those new ways of being embodied here on Earth, just as soon as, at the beginning of next year.
Goosebumps or truth bumps. I've heard people call them God bumps too. Yeah, I think that's perfectly said and very intriguing around the rainbow as well, and looking at how that all fits. So yeah, I wonder today, maybe we should all do a little experiment in working with the weather. It is raining like crazy here the last couple of days. It's kind of, I like to call it fat rain. It's like over here in Melbourne, we get really heavy, dense raindrops. So yeah, it's not that little light sprinkling that you see in some other places. And we're actually finishing the show a little bit early because I do have to jump into client sessions. Did you want to share any of your graphs or anything that you guys have got below?
Yeah, you want to pop up the chart quick? We did spend some time on it, and we can just
Yeah.
run through that real fast.
Oh, let me just stop this one. Okay, and we'll pop this one up. Is this the one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I pulled together this chart just because, like I had said, a lot of these individual moments in time when we look at the astrology for a big key date for 3IAtlas, shall we say, Mercury is playing a very important role in all of those charts at that time. There's big oppositions from, you know, some of the earlier dates that we've already gone through, from the discovery for the pass to Mars and to the sun. And now as we move forward, we see that rather than oppositions or hard aspects from Mercury, our next two moments in time for 3IAtlas as it comes closest to the Earth and then to Jupiter are more so moments of integration, shall we say, because Mercury in these charts is co-present with a bunch of other planets at that time. So rather than being on the other side of the coin, Mercury is now integrating with Venus and the Sun and the Moon at the Sagittarius new moon. Take that as a moment to, you know, incorporate all of this information, all the experiences that you've had with 3IAtlas, and help you or have that to help you move forward. Just in the same way that when it passes Jupiter next spring in March, I believe that's our Pisces new moon. And so we have these two big new moon moments in signs that deal with religion and spirituality. And Mercury is there to help integrate this information that's coming through at that time. So we've had a lot of kind of like truth bombs and a lot of like big pieces of information coming out. And now the story really more turns to like an internal, so what am I going to do with this information? How am I going to integrate that into my daily life? And so I just wanted to kind of pull this together to emphasize, one, the role that Mercury has, but then two, the shift that Mercury has inside of the sky moving forward now that 3IAtlas has passed both the Sun and Venus.
Yeah, so interesting. And do you feel like, I know we've got Uranus back in Taurus at the moment, but we're looking at Uranus and Gemini for the next 7 years. I think it starts April next year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like we're going to go through a big shift with that being an influence for the next 7 years?
Yeah, I remember when Uranus like first came in, it was right at the beginning of July. It came in for a short period of time. And I recall inside of that week, friends, family, clients, a lot of people saying, oh my gosh, you know, the downloads, the information. But then also the division really is coming up in a more kind of clear way, where folks are a little bit more sure of taking their stand and taking their position, one side or the other. I've noticed a lot recently that regardless of what position you're willing to take, people are more confident in taking a position recently. And Uranus in Gemini is really going to help us to understand all the different viewpoints to take, even some that we haven't even considered before, and ultimately finding a way to see beyond those viewpoints and understand the wholeness that sits behind all of that.
Yeah, oh, it's going to be such an interesting time to witness and to be alive, especially if we've got that as big influence in the chart too. I've got Gemini rising, so I'm already really feeling it so big. I feel like it's kind of, let's burn everything to the ground and just start fresh is kind of the feel that I've got.
I know a few people with some early Gemini placements that have had a really interesting summer, shall we say, but a lot of really like notable experiences. And that's the energy of Uranus. You know, it's going to come in, shake things up. You're not going to miss it. It's going to be right in front of your face. It's just the universe giving you a little upgrade mission, a little something to work on for a short period of time.
Well, I like the sound of that. That sounds amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight, guys. This has been so much fun. And as we were saying backstage, like how uplifting it is when we all come together. And look at this comment from the gorgeous Lorianne. My higher self got so energized with this live. And yeah, we were excited to bring it to you as well.
Yeah.
Even though we're feeling like retreating to the forest in many ways, it's so important to do these shows and to touch base. One of the next shows that I'll have coming up a little bit later this week, I haven't popped it up yet, is my show with Sarah Doig, and she is a medical intuitive. So that'll be one our soul tribe will definitely want to check out, as well as I've done some of the pre-recording for the 12 zodiac sign readings for this month. So I'll continue to work on them. It's just been a crazy busy time with my daughter finishing year 12 and finishing up a lot of her driving hours that she has to do before going for her license. So it's, yeah. Oh, and side note, the gorgeous Meg Moonbeam actually read my kids' charts the other week too. She just sent me like little voice messages having a look at some of their charts because it's quite a big year for them. And she's like, oh my gosh, with my middle daughter, she's like, I've never seen someone with that much in Scorpio before. She's powerful. So yeah, love to do some shows with you, Corbin, as well on stelliums and on, you know, certain like patterns, whether it's grand trines or, you know, just grand crosses, yods, anything sort of that's a little bit interesting and a little bit mystical. And I think our soul tribe will probably have a few of those placements. So if you guys haven't had a session with Corbin, highly recommend it. Go and check out your pattern, go and see like what's coming up for you guys. And it will also help you to gain a greater insight and understanding of who you are.
Well, I'll just say stelliums are one of my specialties. There's a large group of folks who were born 89 to 92-ish who have a Capricorn stellium. I am one of them. But one of the big things that got me in really deep into astrology was digging into stelliums. There's not a lot of information out there. And I do consider it one of my like specialties. So yeah, if you have more than 3 planets in a particular sign, I'd love to talk to you about how each of those work together to really form part of your identity.
I'll have to share my daughter's chart with you. She's got 5 things, and it's like most of her main things. So all in Scorpio. She's interesting. Meg referred to her as a mini me. So it's going to be interesting to see what she chooses next year to do. Right. But yeah, just love you guys. And also, please go check out Jake's sessions as well. They are phenomenal. And especially if you need to channel through information from your higher self, or you've had a weird ET experience, or you want to look into past lives, future lives, I can highly recommend. So everything should be in the description box below. And I've also popped them up on the show numerous times tonight. So you guys will have the links throughout the show. So good to screenshot. But yeah, have a wonderful night, everyone. And thank you so much to our Soul Tribe for showing up as well.
Yeah, thank you guys. We love you all.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, all.